OMG, Derek and John, because a hot rumor just came out today that's pretty darn exciting if you're a Mario fan, because it's actually really multiple rumors. So this started over at Video Games Chronicle, who posted that Nintendo originally had a big plan, or originally had a big event planned for around E3 time for Mario's 35th anniversary, which of course is this year. As part of this, we're going to announce various things, including more about Super Nintendo World, as well as movie details, which of course both have probably been affected by other worldwide events at this point. However, as part of the whole 35th anniversary, there's apparently game plans as well, including a Paper Mario this year, which we had reported a rumor of some time ago, but also apparently remasters of, I quote, most of Super Mario's 35 back-year catalog remastered for Nintendo Switch. Which sounds like a lot. The Eurogamer then chimed in with a few more details of their own, including the fact that one of those remasters would be Super Mario Galaxy alongside a couple of other 3D Marios, on top of separately mentioning Super Mario 3D World Deluxe as a port, including extra levels. So basically, if I understand correctly, we're looking at a potential 4 Mario remasters here, counting Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, which is insane. Plus Paper Mario. This is, guys, as a Mario fan, as one who grew up with Mario, these are exciting times for me. But what do you guys think? What's your take on this so far?
It sounds like bullcrap, but I believe it. Nintendo don't do this kind of stuff very often. It's very rare that they do remasters, and when they do, they spread them out very far apart. So then just remastering everything? Oh God, I don't even know where to begin. Because yeah, it could just be the big 3D games, but it could also be, as VGC say, the back catalogue. Does that mean New Super Mario Brothers? Does that mean Mario Land? I don't know where they're going to stop with this, but I'm on. I believe this.
Oh, I think we know what they mean by that. They're going to re-release Mario All-Stars for a second time for a Mario anniversary.
I mean, that's kind of what I was expecting. Yeah. Is just like, well, here's Mario All-Stars on the Nintendo Switch Online. Have fun. That's about all you're going to get. But yeah, the fact that we're getting some remasters of these 3D Mario games, and the thing is, I love that quote. It's Mario Galaxy plus a couple other 3D Mario favorites. Well, there's not many 3D Mario games out there. We got 64, we got Sunshine, we got Galaxy 2, and maybe, I mean, we already got Mario 3D World included. Maybe 3D Land. Like, what else is there?
Yeah,
it's kind of funny in that way. It's like because Mario is not that prolific in the 3D space. He has a lot of games, but not a lot of the big 3D games that we come to expect and celebrate because, well, they are kind of an event when they happen. I don't know if I believe it or not, though. It's just so out there because it seems so non-Nintendo.
Yeah, it does seem very non-Nintendo. These sources are, you know, Eurogamer especially has been pretty on the ball when it comes to rumors. Not always, but they've been pretty accurate. Having two separate sources back this up is making me think that this probably is legit. And the timing does make sense for Mario's 35th. Although Nintendo has never really been one for anniversaries either, so maybe that's almost a point against it. As I said, the last time that we got something major for Mario Anniversary, it was a Mario All-Stars re-release that was just an emulated version of the SNES Classic. Which, don't get me wrong, it's a great game, but that's not a remaster. So hearing that we might be getting potentially 3 remasters, plus Mario 3D World Deluxe, plus a new Paper Mario, oh my god, that's a lot to take in. That is hard to believe on the surface level, but the child in me, the Mario fan that lives inside me, wants to believe so hard in this. So, first question, guys, what other Marios do you think we're getting? As Derek said, there's not a whole lot we can get. So, I mean, I for one am hoping Mario 64 is among them. Like, I feel like it has to be. If they're celebrating Mario's 3D collection as much as they seem to be, you have to have Mario 64. It was started arguably 3D gaming, at least for a platforming genre. And that's a game that I would love to see properly remastered. Arguably, they had a version of it before on DS, but that wasn't a remaster. That was like a demaster. I want a remaster.
You say that, but I do think it'd be interesting if we had a mode that included 64 DS and like have that played properly.
Option, they can include the minigames.
Yeah, I mean, as an option, but I don't want the whole thing. But I think it'd be, as somebody who's not played DS and not really access that content, it'd be interesting to have that mode in there. It should not be the main event. It should absolutely be, here's Mario 64 looking good.
Are you expecting like a remake of Mario 64, like in the Odyssey engine? Or are you pretty much expecting Mario 64, but in widescreen?
That is a great question. I mean, it depends. If we're going strictly by the terminology used here, remaster would imply more along those lines, but I can't see remaster. I just don't see it for Mario 64. So I am picturing something. What I'm hoping for is something more akin to the Crash Bandicoot remakes. I mean, that's from the exact same era. That was like a month after Mario 64, a couple months after Mario 64. Do what Crash did. Go back. Give it all new visuals. Let it play largely the same. Maybe tweak a few things like the wall jump, which was kind of tricky at the time back then. Make it just a little bit easier to play. Like, add some modern conveniences to it. Otherwise, I think we can have pretty much the same game, just given modern visuals, modern music, remaster the music, which would be great. Hearing the bombastic, Bomb Battlefield with like a proper orchestra would be amazing. Or, Jolly Roger Bay just at a much higher fidelity. Give me that. Give me what Crash did, but for Mario 64.
That is kind of the dream.
I can't wait to see HD Mario 64 renders. that's something small, but they're going to look so cool when they come out.
Oh my god.
That is the dream. I mean, it'd be awesome to have that. But this is Nintendo. I'm honestly expecting it to be more along the lines of the Ocarina of Time 3D remake, where it's like a nice bump, but it's not like amazing graphics.
Here's the thing too, as well, is the Crash games, they shared assets. They all felt very similar in how they play. Whereas Mario 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy, if you were to sort of replicate the remake across all three of those games, then I don't think it would work the same, because they're all just drastically different. The assets are drastically different. They feel different in just how they handle.
The only one that actually needs a full-on remaster is 64. Sunshine and Galaxy, Galaxy we kind of know based off this rumor, but if Sunshine is one of the included games, they could just do what they did for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. Mario 64 is probably the one that really needs a major remake. Otherwise, the rest, I just played Mario Galaxy 2 a few weeks ago for a Game of the Decade discussion. That game still looks beautiful. That game still holds up. Obviously, at a far lower resolution than is ideal. But yeah, just upscale that. Maybe, ideally upgrade the textures. It's probably not necessary, but it would be nice if they did. Otherwise, that game's good to go. That game's locked. Mario Sunshine might need a little bit more work, especially in the texture department, perhaps. But maybe like some of the I just saw a picture from I forget what Twitter account had it, but it showed some of the far off polygonal models for some of the environmental details, and like how some of the low detail models like actively change like substantially, and that they don't even look that similar. So they could probably refine some of that, because that would be noticeable at HD levels. But I'm getting kind of nitpicky here. But yeah, I think you're otherwise right, Derek. Do what they did for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and that would probably mostly work.
Well, a big part of Sunshine as well was when it was initially shown, it was shown at 60 FPS, but the retail version was 30 FPS. So this is the very first, this is an opportunity to give us Sunshine at the original frame rate that it was shown at. But of course, Sunshine could do with a lot more work outside of just visuals. There's a lot to tighten up. So potentially, we could end up having a good version of Mario Sunshine on our hands.
So far, it looks like we're kind of looking... Whoa, hold on, John. You said a lot there. Whoa. All right, hold on. I'll go back to that in a second. All right. So it looks like we're kind of like leaning towards... So look, are we treating this as maybe this could be the first set of 3D Marios being 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy?
I mean those are the ones that make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. How ambitious do they go, though? Like, are they releasing them all separately? And if so, are they going to be releasing them around the same time? Because that's a lot of stuff at retail at once.
What I really am hoping for is as I kind of touched on earlier, we've had Mario All-Stars, give us Super Mario 3D All-Stars, or Super Mario All-Stars 3. Just throw 3D somewhere in there. 3D Mario All-Stars. I don't care where the 3D is. Just make it happen.
No, we gotta save the All-Star label for the new Super Mario Brothers collection.
Oh my god, don't. Oh, they would burn it on that, wouldn't they?
Get all 4 of them on there, boom, we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the fun thing about this, is a chance to revisit these classics. And also, to your point, John, about 60 FPS, Mario 64 could be the same way too. I think that's the only other 3D Mario that doesn't run at 60 frames per second. Besides, I think probably the DS one. I don't remember what that ran at. Probably not 60. Well, maybe it did, actually. I don't remember. So that's something they could tweak too. So that would be another reason for remaking, for possibly, remaking that game more so than the others. But I want to focus on something you said there, John. This is a chance to make Mario Sunshine good. Now, I realize maybe people already consider it good, but also I know there are people who, like me, think it's probably one of the weaker 3D Marios. So my question is, what could they do to fix this game? This is something I've thought about a lot. Because people ask me, what can they do to fix that game? And I'm like, I don't know. The issues for me are like kind of so intrinsic to just how the game is that, it'd be rough. I mean, but for me, I guess surface level stuff, they have to fix the camera. The camera sucked in Mario Sunshine. Give it, better controls. Just lift them from Odyssey, perhaps. Do something to fix the camera, especially in the water park level, of course. They have to basically fully reimagine the camera. Next, blue coins. You have to adjust how blue coins work. Maybe completely reinvent them. Like, right as they were locked on a per mission basis. That was so annoying, and the game didn't tell you at all which missions have blue coins left for you to find. So at the very least, they need to offer some kind of, like, I don't remember there being like a catalog for it. So at the very least, there needs to be some kind of catalog showing you where you're missing them. Some kind of like in-game guide to kind of guide you toward what to do next for blue coins. Otherwise, I would just cut them and replace them with something else entirely, like new stars or something.
There was a catalog, but it didn't tell you where you got them. It just said, hey, here's how many blue coins you got in this level, which is not helpful at all.
No, it's not, yeah.
If they want to go basic, yes, just mark on a map where we found the blue coins, and that way we can go from there. If they want to keep it basic and not put a lot of effort into this. If they want to give a lot of effort, I think it'd be really cool to do that. And when you turn it in to get your shines, maybe rather than just be given the shine, here's an extra platforming challenge. That just add content and like, here's some new things that you can do with the thing. Just little, like, they already have that space where you're doing these things without FLUDD. Have FLUDD specific platforming challenges in there and really just change it up and give more content, make the blue coins feel worth finding. Even if you only still get the Hawaiian shirt as your reward, at least you had levels getting unlocked as you work toward that reward.
You just reminded me of how they can fix Mario Sunshine. Remove FLUDD.
I don't know if that'll work.
I don't think the content's really the problem with Sunshine. It's part of the problem, but a lot of it's just the physics. The game is just whack at times. There's some shines which have you just sort of working through all these platforms, or that ricochet one, and they all just feel weird, and nothing really works the way you expect it to.
Right.
And like reworking the physics engine, that's quite a lot of work, and I don't know if that's remaster like worthy, or if that's remake worthy.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is gonna be. One of my issues actually is with the controls. I think they could greatly simplify them. One of my bigger issues, which maybe I'm the only one in the world who's ever had this issue, but I've seen no one else mention it. But I hated the toggle for FLUDD, where you go from the shooting mode to the hover mode, because for me, it was never in the right mode when I needed it, or I'd forget to activate it when I'm like actively falling and need to use a hover. I couldn't activate it. So I just end up shooting my water spray, which I could have easily fixed by just making it like contact sensitive or something. If you're in the air, you're not going to want to shoot water more than likely. You're going to want to hover. So fix that. I think the hover controls themselves too could also be spruced up. They were always a little bit awkward, I found, and there wasn't a good sense of momentum to me.
Well, I guess one issue with FLUDD as well is how are we going to work around analog triggers? Do we just press a different button? So I guess the Switch has an extra shoulder button this time, but yeah, are they just gonna have like another mode to like walk around while squirting water, or what?
I mean, Luigi's Mansion had this issue too, kind of, where they had to get rid of the analog controls for the 3DS remake, and for the most part on Sunshine, I don't recall you needing to adjust your water pressure.
Not really.
I would guess they would just have like two buttons, like if for one, when you need to run around to shoot it, or one when you need to go into first-person mode to shoot it, or their close-up camera view. Other than that, I don't think you need to adjust. You don't need to moderate the amount of water you shoot often.
Well, actually, speaking of control issues, not to get away from Sunshine, but there's a lot of games to potentially talk about. Galaxy also has a tricky part to translate to a potential port on the Switch, and that is, of course, the pointer controls and how you gathered up bits. Do you think they're going to just make us Joy-Con only? Do you think you'll be able to just use the right analog stick to gather it? What do you think they're going to do there in order to get star bits if they do? Well, Eurogamer does say it is, but if this is remastered or ported or what have you, how do you think that's going to be fixed?
Captain Toad kind of got around this. With Captain Toad, there was a pointer on screen which was used controlled with the gyro, and I think in handheld mode you can use the touchscreen. So I guess that's one way around it. Galaxy 1's not the issue with that, though. I think Galaxy 2 is where it goes further, because Galaxy 2 you have Yoshi,
right,
and he needs the pointer far more. It's far more intensive than it was in Galaxy 1, because you're using it to get Yoshi's tongue on things, or you're using it to swing around, and that's where it becomes more of a problem. So, yeah, I'm not entirely sure if the gyro is going to be a great replacement to the Wii's IR sensor for that.
Yeah, gyro won't be, but as you mentioned, it won't be as big of a problem as it would be for Galaxy 2, which we don't know whether that's being remastered or not. It feels like it'd be weird if they don't, but there's been no mention of it either. So yeah, it's because it's less of an actual intrinsic gameplay mechanic in 1, but it does factor in a few other ways though beyond just star bits, including how like you can blow Mario around in the bubble at a few points. However, I think in those cases it'll actually work better than just as a cursor in general, because the biggest issue with the cursor is the fact that gyro-based pointers slowly drift, which means it's not, you're going to have to be resetting it constantly in order to make sure you're able to collect those star bits. And since it's such like a kind of like a random activity in Mario Galaxy, I can see that being a little bit annoying, but again, it's not that essential. So maybe to offset that, they can like lower the amount of star bits requirements at certain points, that we don't need as many, or make it so the cursor is like more, is larger and has a bigger surface area, so it can grab star bits without being as accurate. There's ways they can work around it. It's gonna need some tweaking, but yeah, it's not too big of a concern, so it's not too big of a factor in Mario Galaxy, I feel.
Yeah, I find gyro works well with third-person shooters, because you can just hold the aim button. That's when gyro kicks in. Otherwise, it's not always on.
Right.
So I guess Galaxy can work kind of like that, where like gyro's not usually on, but if you're holding a certain button down, then the cursor appears. So that way, it's recalibrating basically all the time.
I mean, there would be a lot of extra buttons because Galaxy did not use them a ton, so
right.
There you go.
There is another option too, I just remembered, and that's the fact that Mario Galaxy has already appeared in HD in China on the NVIDIA Shield. So yeah, an HD version of this game already exists, and that could be the version that they maybe bring to the Switch, considering it uses similar hardware. And how they got around the pointer in that game was the fact that you just use a right stick instead, because it seemed to work on the NVIDIA Shield, so no reason why it wouldn't work on the Switch as well. Are there any other changes or additions you would like to see to these Mario games, beyond the more fundamental tweaks you mentioned?
I was thinking of like what kind of, like I was trying to think of like what kind of extras Zelda got beyond those tweaks and updates that, for Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, and I can't think of any too much beyond like these special challenges that linked into Amiibo, at least in Twilight Princess's case. But something I would really like, especially since this is the 35th anniversary and a lot of the developers are getting up there in life, I'd like that some like just background, like behind the scenes, like have some of these developers talk about the creation of these games, have like almost a mini documentary, 10 to 15 minutes, even less would be fine. Just talk about what went into these games and maybe show some behind the scenes footage or something like that. I know Nintendo is notoriously private when it comes to those things, but it would be really cool to have that extra oomph.
Yeah, I agree. That'd be amazing. They've done light versions of that, super light versions, like with Mario Maker, where they touched on, some of the history, I think, in order to explain like the level design concepts. But yeah, we've never had like much in the way of videos from Nintendo, and that would be such a great thing to explore, especially for Mario's 35th anniversary. Yeah, I would love if they went out and did some behind the scenes features. I'm not expecting it. Like something even along the lines of the Aladdin and Aladdin and Lion King compilation that came out recently, which had some super cool, both retrospectives and as well as bringing back features that hadn't been seen since they were created like 20, 30 years ago. I don't think any of those exist for Nintendo, but yeah, if they made some, that'd be fantastic.
I want a behind the scenes on the Yoshi model of Mario 64. What went into that?
I want a behind the scenes feature on the typo in the English version of Yoshi's speech in Mario 64.
Wow. Maybe, there you go. Maybe you can run around Mario 64 on Yoshi this time.
Oh, MG. That would be cool. Like, I mean, how cool would it be if they actually went back and added, like, I don't know, a new level? You touched on the challenge for Mario Sunshine, but like a new Mario 64 level. Like, originally, as I recall, I think they had plans for like 40 levels of Mario 64, which originally got cut down, which then got cut down to 15. What if they went back and implemented like just one or two of them? How amazing would that be? Maybe have it be like a final unlockable world, so you're not messing up the flow of the game.
It would be really cool, and like 64DS did have a few new levels, but I wouldn't say any of them were at the quality of like base Mario 64.
Right.
I would love them to do something new, but with the quantity that they're doing here, I kind of don't expect it. I'm kind of just expecting like the bare minimum game, but remastered.
Yeah, that's probably, if this is true, where your expectations should be at.
So you're expecting a remaster, not a remake, John?
Yeah, I'm expecting all these games to be in widescreen now, but apart from that, I'm not expecting anything like too major. But like a remastered soundtrack could be really cool though.
I still am holding out hope for a remake of Mario 64 and remasters of the others. Or remakes of all three, but that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Mario 64 is the one that kind of needs it the most. I mean, it deserves a Crash Bandicoot style update. So if Nintendo ignores that, I would be a little bit bummed.
When they remake, if they remake Mario 64, I would love for them to be very loyal to the control scheme though, because that's such a specific feeling to it that no other 3D platformer quite feels like. There's a sense of momentum that carries with Mario 64's control scheme that I can't think of any other 3D platformer that feels that similar.
Yeah, Mario's heft to him in that game.
Yeah, like they can fix the wall jump and things like that, but apart from that, he feels great as he is.
Oh, you know what I want? I want a new multiplayer mode. I don't know in what form. I think we'd seen some. I think Mario 64 DS actually had a multiplayer mode. That was actually pretty fun, like the Star Shine thing or the Sunshine Sprite thing, whatever it was. That was pretty fun. So it would be neat if they found some way to incorporate that into the classics. If not, a co-op mode. I might break the game, but Mario 64 in co-op would be amazing.
Here's a dumb thing. What if this is a collection? What if this is All Stars, and we're able to mix and match the Mario model in each game? So you can play Galaxy with the Mario 64 model, or squeeze in the Galaxy model into 64, and whatever else.
That would be, I mean, you could already kind of do that in Mario Odyssey, so there is some precedent for that. Or, hey, actually, that kind of reminds me, what if they actually went back and added Luigi to Super Mario 64? An actual Luigi.
Finally real.
Yep, L is real after all this time. That would be a fun way to switch it up.
It's not 2041 yet.
Yeah, that's true, it's not. But yeah, I think that'd be really neat if they actually found some way to offer a new twist on these games, maybe. Maybe not just remake Mario 64, but give us something new too, like a little bonus, like a bonus way of playing through at the end.
Yeah. Even if Luigi isn't in, they're going to have to update that little plaque that says L is real, because it's going to be clearer in HD now.
That's true.
Will we actually be able to read what it says? Will it say something else, or will L still be sort of teased in there?
Yeah. Drink your Ovaltine, is what it'll say. Yeah, I for one am stoked by the news of these remasters. I can't wait to find out more about them. But for now, there's two other things we haven't discussed too much real quick. One, let's focus in on, since it's also kind of tied to this, but as far as we can tell, it sounds separate to the remasters. That is a deluxe version of Super Mario 3D World, including extra levels. It's actually kind of a surprise this hasn't happened yet, but I figured it was just a matter of time. So this really isn't a huge shock to me. But the fact that they are including bonus content, seemingly, that's exciting. That's cool, and maybe it sets a good precedent for these remasters, too. What do you guys think, though? What are you kind of hoping for the 3D World Deluxe?
Yeah, first, duh. I mean, 3D World is in Mario Maker 2, Captain Toad's been out for a while now. This was gonna happen.
Even if all the rest of it's fake, 3D World Deluxe is happening.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I bet my life on it.
Nintendo have gotten a lot better with their ports lately. With Tropical Freeze, we got Funky Kong. That was alright. But lately we've had Xenoblade with a brand new epilogue. Tokyo Mirage Sessions had its own little extra chapters. So it does feel like Nintendo's remasters, or ports as of lately, have definitely gone the extra mile to including more content. So yeah, it makes sense for them to have more levels in this.
Yeah. That'd be a fun local multiplayer game too. Ooh, what if they added online to 3D World?
That could go so badly or so great.
Yeah.
If it plays like Mario Maker 2, then but it being there in any case, that'd be awesome.
It'd be a good thing, exactly.
So my thought on these extra levels, it either goes one of two ways. Either we get brand new ones, which might happen, or we get redesigned versions of 3D Land levels.
Ooh, that'd be cool. Yeah, it does feel weird to leave 3D Land out of the conversation, because it was a pretty good game, but I guess it doesn't have the legacy of other 3D Marios. But with 3D World Deluxe, I think they'll probably frame it as 3D Land and 3D World if they were going to combine the two, even if it's just a few extra levels. I'd be cool. I'm not necessarily expecting 3D Land stuff. What I might expect, though, is they had, Rosalina in the post-game. They could, I don't know, throw in, Toadette or someone. It's just someone else to play as in
another Super Crown adventure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Peach is already in there. You can't only have Peach and Peach, but they could have someone else in there.
That's never stopped them before.
Don't underestimate Nintendo.
I get all the calls for Wario, Waluigi, Daisy.
Daisy could be cool.
Yeah, that'd be something. Yeah, bring her back for a proper platformer. Yeah, it'd be neat if they actually added another character with their own unique level set. That seems ambitious for Nintendo, but you never know. There's another slight quirk with Mario 3D World though, and that's the fact that it took advantage of the gamepad. Now, this would work fine if you're playing in handheld mode, where, in 3D World, you could tap on certain platforms to move them. But what if you're not? We're playing on the TV. Now, Captain Toad's already explored something similar to this, and I think they had a cursor to address that. But I don't know. Yeah. I don't think they'll go the cursor route with 3D World. I don't think he had to be as precise in 3D World. So I'm wondering, at least for the situation I'm thinking of, maybe there's others I've forgotten, but I'm thinking they could probably just like add a toggle, right? Where you hit a toggle to like move all the platforms at once, perhaps.
Well, some of them required you to hit them in time, and then as you jump up the platforms, like if you hit all of them at once, a flat wall would come out and you wouldn't be able to ascend in one case. There's other cases where you need to blow into the mic in order to move a platform.
Oh yeah, that's right, that terribleness.
Yeah. I think Captain Toad had that too, I think.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. So Captain Toad got rid of the microphone entirely. And I think they were just automated. I could be wrong. Maybe they tapped them instead. I forget how the moving platforms worked at that point. But yeah, they'll find. I don't think we're gonna get. I don't think we'll get a cursor this time, because the cursor isn't big enough a factor in the game to bother with.
It's weird for 4-player as well, isn't it? Like if one player has the cursor and the other 3 don't.
Well, that was also the case in the Wii U version, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there are very few levels that really use the gamepad. I can think of one that really prominently uses it, and it's this one sort of foresty sort of level where like there's these blocks coming out and you can blow on these little propellers. So they could just replace that one level if it's really a big issue, because there really aren't that many that use it.
No, there aren't. I've been struggling to even remind myself of what they were. I remember more Captain Toad's use of it than 3D World. So, and then actually, real quick, is there anything else I could add to 3D World? Anything else I could tweak? You think for the deluxe version to earn that moniker?
Well, this isn't really a tweak, but if you have a 3D World save file, it can work just like the Wii U version of Captain Toad, and we can finally have those Wii U levels back in the Switch version of Captain Toad. Oh, they were cut.
Ooh, that'd be cool, actually! That's right, that would be awesome if they actually went back and added an update to Captain Toad, that if you have 3D World, here you go, 4 more levels to play through. You know, they're a little bit lame, but it was kind of fun to have as like a little bonus. It's so weird that well, I mean, the weird thing is that would actually technically break canon now, because they already changed what game Captain Toad ties into, and originally it was 3D World, right? So how would it work this time? You just have two
alternate dimensions,
alternate universes. Yeah,
yeah, sure, that works. I'm fine with that. They already introduced a Super Crown. Who cares?
Super tiny thing I want from multiplayer that I think would just add the right amount of chaos. So, you know, multiplayer usually devolves into everybody wanting the crown and wanting to win that level. I want a scorecard. I want, when you're in the session with 4 players, have a tally of who won what level, and just have it there as a reminder every time you're on the world map, so you can see that competition. You can see who to maybe focus on to not win.
Did they not have a coin counter at the end of each stage? I can't recall.
I can't recall. I think maybe it did. Yeah,
but they could go beyond coins. Like, you know, make it a point counter. Yeah.
Add a little bit more of the competition element to it, because that's all I know of Mario 3D World multiplayer. It's just people competing for that crown.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of multiplayer, here's a big thing too. In 3D World, grab and run were the same button, and I remember throwing my fiance into a lava pit so many times. Just make a grab button its own button. Like, make grab ZL or something, and make the run button not be grab, because that way you're not just accidentally killing everyone all the time.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be a good idea.
Although, accidentally killing people's half the fun, to be honest.
You get chaotic in some levels, though, but yeah.
Alright. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the final point of this, and something we've discussed before, but as I said, it was rumored, but Video Games Chronicle did basically back up the idea that there will be a new Paper Mario this year. So, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but we had a whole discussion for this rumor already, but what are our hopes and dreams for this? What are you expecting from a new Paper Mario?
Nintendo are very slow to respond with Sticker Star, and I think Sticker Star sold very well, and that influenced the direction of Color Splash. And it feels like Color Splash, somewhere in its development, just did a 180 and just like tried to make it as good as it can in the formula it had. I feel they know now that the Sticker Star formula is not what people want, and what I'm expecting is a return to form. I think they're going to go back to their RPG roots.
I hope so. I really do. I'm very curious whether they will go down the route of teaming up with other actual Paper Mario characters or having entirely new ones. You know, that's the question there for me. Honestly, I think it'd be kind of fun to just change it up and have it be a Paper Bowser game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like that. It's just it's been so long since
traditional
since I've loved this series. I just kind of want to go back to the basics.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you say return to the characters, like I think every game's always had like a new cast of characters too. Like even the first 2 games, you had the whole new parties.
Yeah, well, what I was saying is whether this is still newer Nintendo, where they don't introduce a lot of new characters.
You just don't want a billion Toads.
Yeah, well, exactly. They still could, like, your party is made up of Luigi, Waluigi, Wario, whatever, you know, the known characters, rather than here is a Goomba with a personality like Goombella.
Yeah.
Like, Odyssey was good at that, though. Odyssey had a ton of unique enemies for each kingdom and different, like, NPCs, so I think they've gotten out of that direction.
I mean, it's telling that the rumor is that it's a new Paper Mario rather than just a port of Color Splash.
Yeah.
I think that's
right.
Like, it's not like, okay, we just missed an audience like with these other Wii U ports. Let's just port it over. It's like, no, we need a new game.
That's a good point.
It's tainted. Like, Color Splash is great, but it is tainted. But it has a great foundation, though. Like, take all of Color Splash's assets. It's a beautiful game. Just reuse a bunch of stuff, and I'm all for that.
Alright guys, any final thoughts you want to get out there about anything related to Paper Mario, the remasters, or the 3D World port, 3D World Deluxe? Anything else we haven't touched on yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just still processing that this can be a thing. It's insanely exciting that we could have 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy and 3D World all on the Switch in a few months. I can't wait to play all these again and see how much better they are than the originals, or how different they are to the originals.
Yeah. That would be cool. Although I still think it's weird. We have been kind of basing the idea around the first three, being, as you said, Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. But wouldn't it be weird not to port Galaxy 2? Do you think, are they holding off on that to make it, to just do it at a later time? Perhaps they don't inundate us with 3D Marios, or...
They don't want to inundate us, and they have like 5 games coming.
Yeah. I mean, I think it is weird not to expect Galaxy 2, you're right, and I do kind of expect it to be in there. Yeah, I think it should be in there. No real reason not to.
Well, in there, as in among the games being released, you're saying? Or
well, yeah. I think it's going to be like an All-Stars thing. I think there's too many games to release all at once.
Yeah. Especially at full price, you know. I mean, they could go at a budget price. If it was all
full price, people would do it. But
if you had to do like Galaxy 1 and 2 as a collection, people would pay full price for that.
Oh, absolutely. People have been begging for that. Why has Nintendo not given that to us yet? Like, Nintendo, my money has just been sitting here ready to give to you for Mario Galaxy Remake.
If this is true, then there you go.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. But if there's no Galaxy 2, like, I mean, well, we don't know. I mean, we're just speculating. But it is odd that your gamer specifically points out Galaxy, but not Galaxy 2. So it could be a situation in which we get both Galaxies and one other random 3D Mario, such as Mario 64 or possibly Sunshine. Sunshine might make more sense in a technical sense, since, as we were saying earlier, it's closer. The hardware was basically the same between the Wii and GameCube, so that might make sense to have that era's 3D Marios being, Sunshine and the 2 Galaxies.
Yeah, you could treat it more like the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess.
Exactly.
Just, do that and boom, you're good.
I need my Mario 64 remake, though, darn it. I need it in my veins. It's been tainted by the DS version. We need a proper, full HD remake. So, and I guess the only games missing in this then would be 3D Land, right? That's the only other 3D Mario besides Galaxy, or that's the only other possible contender if the 3D World is indeed a separate deluxe version. So,
and I have a feeling they won't bother with 3D Land since they already have 3D World potentially here coming.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a little confusing. Plus, they'd have to rework a few elements of 3D Land to accommodate for the fact there's no 3D screen. Like, I'm thinking specifically those challenge levels where you could only use the depth to tell where to go.
Also, just a boring thing, which is probably going to happen, Mario Maker. I mean, it's the 35th anniversary, they're going to update that game. There's going to be new game modes.
Yeah, styles, you mean?
Yeah, new game styles.
I hope so. Like, let's bring in... Well, they could go... If Mario 64 is getting remastered, that's a perfect time to bring in the Mario 64 option.
Oh, man.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
That'd be so cool.
Both maybe a retro and modern version of Mario 64 would be fantastic. I still want Mario 2. They've added Pokey, so they're taking baby steps toward adding a proper Mario 2 style. I would love if they went the distance. I mean, that's one enemy taken care of across all 4 styles. Give us a rest, please. I want Mario 2 in there. Mario 2 physics, that'd be great. Yeah, I guess trying to think what else could they do for Mario's 35th. I mean, I think there's a chance to still get some Mario movie news, but because that movie was already so far out anyway, I don't think the thing happening around the world right now would impact those plans too much, considering it was already planned for, what, 2022, 2023 or something?
Yeah. I guess they could announce the voice cast. Like, do we expect Charles Martinet to voice Mario, and do we expect, like, the Peach voice actress to come back? Because, like, Charles Martinet's great, but when he speaks in full sentences, it's always a little bit weird.
It's a little weird, yeah. that's a tough thing. I can't imagine it being anyone other than Charles Martinet, but I also can't imagine listening to Charles Martinet for an hour and a half as Mario.
Right.
So, yeah, my gut is it'll be someone, it'll be recast. They'll keep him for the games, but I'm thinking he might be recast for the movie, but I don't know. I do not know. The only other point to bring up, I think, is the fact that Video Games Chronicle had mentioned, they mentioned most of Super Mario's 35 backyard catalog were going to be remastered. That sounds a little excessive. Do you expect that? Do you think they'll re-release, I guess, everything, including the 2D Marios? But they didn't specify that was 3D, whereas Eurogamer kind of dialed in on that. But Video Games Chronicle sounds a little bit more ambitious in terms of like the 2D games. So do you think they might re-release like the 2D ones too? Perhaps like they could bring, we already have some of them in the form of a Nintendo Switch Online. They could re-release All-Stars again, as I said earlier. But what else?
I mean, that'd be the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't expect to see much, honestly, because if they're doing all this with the 3D Marios, that's a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's also there's 3 new Super Mario Brothers games that aren't on the Switch. There's 2 Super Mario Land games. I don't know if I expect those to come along. Maybe in Mario Maker. Maybe some Mario Land themes in Mario Maker, but apart from that, I don't expect that much.
Yeah, same here.
So I guess the final thing to bring up is that apparently Super Nintendo 3D or Super. So the final thing to bring up is I think the fact that Super Nintendo World was originally intended to be part of these plans. In terms of announcements, but of course the whole pandemic happening worldwide has shut down theme parks around the world. So are we expecting anything from this now? Like, what do you think they might do here in terms of announcements for the park?
Oh, it's getting delayed. If the Olympics are being delayed, this is getting delayed. It's probably just like, okay, here's more time to get the park ready for when the Olympics actually happen.
I guess they can outline what their plans are for the future, but yeah, I mean, it's so hard to launch a theme park right now, and it'd also be weird to talk about the future when you can't launch the park now. So
yeah,
I have no idea what they're gonna say.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing. I mean, there's still a chance it opens this year, so it might make sense to give out those details. The details are ready. The park is almost done being built. It was planned to open in just a couple of months before this whole thing hit. So I still think there's a chance that, I think we'll get the details this year no matter what. I guess the only question is, will we get them around when they had planned originally? And I think there's a decent chance we won't. Because I think they probably would hold off until the park actually officially opens, as I'm sure it's part of their whole media package. But, it's impossible to say. But I think we'll still get news this year, and I think it still will open this year. Just a little bit later, than was planned originally. But yeah, we'll see. So, alright guys, any final thoughts, or are we about done here?
I'm good.
I think that's about it.
I'm so excited for this news. I love this. This is all music to my ears. And just being able to replay possibly what I'm hoping is at the very least a remastered, if not a remake of Mario 64, would be amazing. Playing through Galaxy again would be great. I just played through Galaxy 2, as I said, but I didn't play Galaxy 1, so that's so luckily I skipped that one. And then even Mario Sunshine, I'd be willing to give it a second chance. Hey, I actually enjoyed Wind Waker substantially the second time with the tweaks they made. Maybe they can fix Mario Sunshine for me too, which would be amazing. Also, I can't wait to see, I really want to see the Mario 64 tile screen with a fully 3D rendered head. If it's remastered or remade, that'd be fantastic. Just fully branded around Mario head.
That'd be so cool.
Wow.
Alright, I think we're about done here. Thanks guys for watching. Of course, stay tuned for more on the Mario 35th anniversary at some point, I'm sure, whether related to these plans or not, and everything else Nintendo as well. So hit that subscribe button for all of that. We'll catch you later. Bye.